A simple woman in a plain white dress steps into the prestigious Royal Gambit Chess Club, drawing curious and judgmental stares. Victor Sterling, the club champion, challenges her to a match, intending to humiliate her for entertainment. The crowd gathers, eager to witness another victim of Victor's cruelty. But when Grace Sullivan moves her first piece, the smug smile fades from Victor's face. With each calculated move, she dismantles his defenses, revealing a brilliant mind behind her modest appearance. What the arrogant chess master and his elite audience didn't know was that the woman they mocked was once a chess prodigy who had walked away from fame. The Royal Gambit Chess Club stood like a fortress of intellectual elitism on Fifth Avenue. Inside, rich mahogany furniture, crystal chandeliers, and expensive cologne created an atmosphere of exclusivity. Victor Sterling sat at his usual table, his pale blue eyes scanning the room. At 42, Victor was the club's reigning champion, guarding his title with ferocity. Another boring evening, he sighed to Charles Westwood. No one worth playing these days. The heavy doors swung open. Grace Sullivan paused inside the entrance, her hazel eyes taking in the scene. At 35, she had quiet confidence. Her simple white dress and worn leather belt contrasted sharply with the opulence surrounding her. "May I help you?" the receptionist asked, her tone suggesting Grace had taken a wrong turn. "I'm looking for Joseph Matthews," Grace replied steadily. "He asked me to meet him here at 8. The receptionist's eyebrows rose. "Dr. Matthews is running late. You're welcome to wait." Grace found an empty chair and sat down, studying the games in progress with quiet intensity. Victor noticed immediately. "Who's that?" he asked Charles. "Clearly doesn't belong here. Probably someone's housekeeper." Victor's lips curled. "She's watching like she understands them." He rose from his seat. "I think we might have found some entertainment for the evening." Victor approached deliberately. "Enjoying the view?" Grace looked up, expression neutral. "Yes, thank you. You play?" The question carried mockery. "A little," she replied. Victor's smile widened. "How charming." A crowd gathered. "I'm Victor Sterling, club champion for the past 7 years." "Grace Sullivan," she replied simply. "Well, Grace Sullivan, perhaps you'd care to play a game. I so rarely get to introduce newcomers to the finer points of chess." "That's very kind, but I'm waiting for someone." "Oh, it won't take long," Victor insisted. "Just a friendly game." Grace hesitated. "I'd really rather not." "Surely you're not afraid," Victor pressed. "One game, unless you find our club beneath your abilities." Grace sighed. "Very well, Mr. Sterling. One game." The doors opened. Dr. Joseph Matthews entered, eyes widening as he saw the scene. "Grace, I see you've met some of our members." "Yes, Mr. Sterling has challenged me to a game." Joseph looked between them. "Has he indeed?" "Just a friendly match," Victor said smoothly. Joseph nodded. "Well, then this should be interesting." The chess table stood under a crystal chandelier. Victor gestured for Grace to take white. "Ladies first." The crowd circled, expecting a slaughter. "Standard tournament rules?" Grace asked. Victor nodded confidently. "Tournament rules it is." Grace moved her pawn to e4. Victor responded with knight to f6. She moved her knight to c3, the precision causing Victor to look up. Without hesitation, Grace moved her bishop to b5, pinning his knight. A murmur rippled through spectators. This was not proceeding as anticipated. 20 minutes in, the atmosphere had transformed. Victor's smile had disappeared. "Check," Grace said quietly. Victor shifted his king, frustration growing. "You've played before," he stated, no longer a question. "I mentioned that I play a little." 3 moves later, Victor stared in disbelief. "Checkmate," Grace announced softly. The room fell silent. Victor remained frozen. "Would you like another game, Mr. Sterling?" Grace asked. The traditional response to defeat is to offer congratulations and request a rematch. Victor flushed. "A rematch. Perhaps a wager. If I win, you tell us who you really are. If you win, you'll stop challenging unsuspecting visitors for your entertainment," Grace finished. "Deal." The rematch concluded even more decisively. "Checkmate in 3, Grace announced. Victor tipped his king over. "Who are you?" Grace glanced at Joseph, who nodded. "Just someone who loves chess, Mr. Sterling." Joseph stepped forward. "Perhaps I can shed some light." "Grace Sullivan, formerly Grace Bennett." A collective gasp rose. "The prodigy," someone exclaimed. "The one who disappeared before the international championship." Victor's expression transformed. Bennett, I studied your matches. They're in textbooks, but you vanished before the finals. Everyone thought many things, Grace said gently, none of which matter now. As they reached the doors, Victor called out, I owe you an apology. I was unprofessional and unkind. Apology accepted. Would you consider coming back? Perhaps giving a lecture? Grace shook her head. I appreciate the offer, but no. I teach elementary school mathematics. Chess is my sanctuary, not my profession. At least tell me, why did you walk away? I discovered that I valued my love for the game more than winning. When it becomes about status or humiliating others, that beauty fades. Victor nodded slowly. Your wager, no more ambushing visitors. You have my word. As the doors closed, something had changed inside the club. Victor returned to his table, pulled out a notebook, and began to write. Not to record victory, but to preserve lessons learned from an unexpected teacher in a simple white dress.